Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jasmine. I'm going to stop fiddling around and I create a lot of lifestyle, bodybuilding, fitness content. So if that's kind of your jam, make sure you stick around, hit subscribe. But I wanted to start this video and I didn't want anyone to feel any pressure. That was like my big thing. So we're currently in that weird transitional period between Christmas and New Year where we don't know what day it is, what day of the week it is. We feel a little bit lost. So today I'm not just making a pretty collage. I'm going to talk you through my step-by-step of how I reset. So I do feel a lot of pressure when I'm resetting for a new year and like November comes around. So I've been doing this over the course of a few weeks, but I've been wanting to sit down and tell you my step-by-step process. So my first kind of instant is when I know that there's a new year coming in November, what I will do is I have a step-by-step. So I will go onto my notes, and I've been doing this for years and I need to show you this. So I don't want to show you it because it's kind of private, but goals and dreams. So I'll show you 2022. So I've been doing this for so long. By the end of 2022, I wanted to hit certain goals. And then I did my little bits of achievements. Now transition this to 2026. I've split this up. Personal, I've simplified it. Personal, business, relationship, finances, bodybuilding, and social. So all of this are my little micro goals. So I sit there and every time I think of an idea, I could be in the shower, I could be out, I write it straight into my phone. That first of all solidifies it. Then at the end, you can see how many goals I set for 2025 that were just not achieved. And for an overachiever, I do struggle with that. Then what I do is I write down my achievements and the month that they happened. So all of this is like the first step of resetting. So for me, making sure that I have something that I can access anytime if I think of a new goal is so important. We deal with this Christmas chaos and this reset, but it's really important. So my version of a brain dump is what didn't work and what could work so last year I set so many goals that it was kind of unachievable. This year I've simplified it. So for example, my fitness goals I'll share with you. I want to continue with Pilates or reformer Pilates once a week. If you've been following along my channel, you've been knowing that I've been dabbling with it. And that's something that I think is so important. I also want to really realize that this can be overwhelming for some people. So this is so important. So I wanted to do a 2025 audit. What worked? What didn't work? I started YouTube, put myself out of the comfort zone. I also do my list for my reflection so I can actually see what went on that year. So I can see little small wins to big wins. So that is step one. Step two is my vision board, okay? So my vision board is something I've been doing for 4 years now. And it's something I thought was a bit hippie, but I actually sat there and reflected my 2025 and when I was making my 2026. And that's a separate clip that you should see somewhere here. But I make a vision board on Canva and I'll put in photos from my wildest dreams. And honestly, I would say about 50% of my 2025 vision board came true, which is crazy to say because I never sat there and reflected. And that's where I went wrong in the previous year because I never sat and reflected what actually went well. So you can't plan for where you're going if you aren't honest about what didn't work in the last year that you don't. So your ins and your outs. What do you want to keep in your life and what you want to keep out? So some of it I will talk through, but some of it is private. So I continually always put on a beach sign, and I've managed to save all my Pinterest. Oh, it's not going to focus, that's okay. I'm going to hide some of it, but I always put in a beach because I think it's so important. I want to save more. I want a house. I'm creating my dream life. I've got a few quotes on there, like I'm getting happier and healthier and I trust God's timing. You know, I've got a lot here and I feel like some of it is private, but I've sat there for the best part of a few hours and really created my vision board. And something which helps me massively is putting it as my background for my laptop. It's something that I love to do. So vision board is complete. Step one is complete. So that step two is my vision board. Then what I personally do is I will unbox this, but I always get my Passion Planner. I was about to show you my address. I've been using Passion Planner for the best part of 7 years, I believe. It's such a beautiful brand, but you can pick a charity. It's from the US or Canada, and I picked the blue one and I was waiting to unbox it. Oh, it's so nice. And I always have medium, 12-month dated planner, Monday start, and I got the starry jellyfish because anyone who knows me knows I love the ocean. So I'll sit here in the next few days and I will draw it out. So I'll completely unbox it for you. so pretty. I have the yellow one this year, which I should have brought into this room, but because of the lighting, because of the time of year, it's a bit dire. But you'll see they've updated it a lot. But you have monthly habit tracks, which I try to track every month apart from December. And then my favorite bit that they've had for years is your passion roadmap, which I've been filling in. So lifetime, 3 years, 3 months, 1 year, and I'll complete this in my own time. So that is the whole reset, my little version of a reset. And I start that probably mid-November. So it's been going on for a while. This is the last bit that I'll do in the next few days. Phase 2 is my physical reset. Now I start to do this over a few weeks, but your space is so important of how you're feeling, especially when you're working at home. So I want to lower my stimulation. What does that mean? Having my lights on, having dim lights in the evening. I want to help my nervous system. So especially for my autoimmune girls, this is so important. I've literally gone through my work laptop, my personal laptop, my other work laptop, closed any tabs that do not serve me, that I do not need. And I also went through my camera roll. I deleted loads of footage and photos which I wouldn't need. I made sure that I just felt calm, not just within my physical space, but also my technological space as well. It's so important. Archive that, put it into a folder. All of that is so, so important. And that's something that's so overlooked. Phase 3 is the anti-burnout. So if you have a system behind something, you have goals. So instead of saying you want to lose 5 kilos, think I'm going to meal prep on Sundays. You want to make sure that you realize, because I have Hashimoto's, I don't plan for 100% energy every day, even though I feel like sometimes I can. I plan for 70%. So I adjust my days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm super focused. I try to take a slower Friday, less calls, more admin, because that helps my nervous system. For someone that can just go, it's something that taking that step back is so important. So ensuring that I have different buckets, and I use Google Calendar, which I can do a completely separate video on, to see how did this work last year and what systems and routines can work into this year. And that's something I talk about with all my online coaching girls. How does a routine work for you that makes sure that you are fail-proof? So that is my little step-by-step process. And the final phase that I wanted to talk about was the first week. So most people set all these resolutions and they fail within the first 2 weeks of January. So we're not starting everything from scratch in January. It's not a case of, oh, I'm going to completely revolutionize the way I'm doing. I want you to realize that how you set the tone in the first few weeks of January will set the tone for the rest of the year. So if you're starting and going all Capel, it's about building those micro habits. So you might 1 week say, I'm going to do 10,000 steps. Week 2, you might sign up to the gym and go to the gym twice. Week 3, you might go to the gym 3 times. Week 4, you might start to look at a meal plan. Instead of having cereal and milk, why don't you have protein powder and oatmeal or cream of rice? Making the micro swaps. And if this is new to you, but making those healthier changes, eating a whole food diet is something I'm so passionate about, and it really makes you feel so much better in yourself. So I want you to think about one way that you are going to transform yourselves and make those small habits, build upon your habits. There's a brilliant book called Atomic Habits, and if you've not read it, I definitely would recommend it. But it talks about habit stacking, doing something with something you already are doing. So for example, I do my Bible study. I do that while I'm on the cardio because it keeps me, I already am doing cardio and I'm habit stacking. So I'm very lucky to have that time to dedicate, which is something I wanted to start in November. Goals are constantly evolving, and what you set at the first part of the year may not align to you in 6 months' time, but setting those good intentions are so important for you. So my one question for you and one ask for you is to comment down below one word which describes your intentions for 2026. And if any of this you found useful, make sure you share it to someone that might benefit, and make sure you give my Instagram a follow and TikTok. But I hope this reset wasn't too much. I didn't want to overwhelm anyone. We're within this limbo, but I wanted to speak about the importance of goal setting, routine and habit stacking to make sure that you felt prepared going into the new year. And I was doing this with all my clients, and I'm a big believer in, if you want to start something, you could have started yesterday. It doesn't need to start on the 1st of January. So this video is very much can be encompassed at any point of the year. Your definition of a reset can be 13th of January, 13th of June. You just need to make sure that your intentions line up with what you want to achieve. So it's really important that you can achieve your dreams, and that's what we're here for. So I hope you found this video useful. Any questions, let me know, and I hopefully will see you next time.